Hello everybody and welcome back and welcome to 2023. Today I'm filming the ultimate roundup of the year, which is my 2022 favorites. I have found so many wonderful products over the course of this year and I feel like brands really brought the heat. There are so many unique and interesting and reliable products laying out in front of me and I'm so excited to talk to you about them all. So before we get into it, I'd love for you to subscribe if you haven't already and let's get started. I'm going to be going in order of application, but I'm starting off with a product I didn't really know where to place, and that is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter, because there are so many different ways you can use this. I first want to talk about the few shades I have in my collection. So I have the shades number 2, 3, and 4. The shade I use most often is shade number 2 because it has a nice golden undertone. You can either use them as a glow booster, you can use them as a highlighter, you can mix it in with your foundation, or you can use it as your skin tint. And I have found a few other ways that I like to use this, and I'll do a little example right now. I'm taking the shade number 2 just in the palm of my hand. And of course you can do it with any glow booster, but I really started to do this with this specific e.l.f. product. And I mix in a little bit of a liquid blush, and what it's going to do, it's just going to lighten up the color, and it's also going to make the blush a lot more glowy. And I mixed it in with the shade Encourage from Rare Beauty. And as you can see, it just adds such a pretty subtle glow to the blush, and it doesn't stop there. You can also do it with liquid bronzer or whatever you want. It's really fun to experiment with, and this formula is just so stunning because it has such a nice even tint to it. Like the pearl inside it doesn't gather up and make your base look uneven if you do decide to use it as a skin tint. And the pearlescence itself is so finely milled you can't see flecks or specks of glitter or pearl, so it just super smooths your skin out while reflecting the light beautifully. Now let's talk about a primer. This is the iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. This one really impressed me. As you know, I am not huge on primers unless they do something quite different to my makeup. And this one does a few things that you'd think would combat each other. So I'm going to bring you along the journey here. So it starts off feeling really nice and thick. It's like a nice juicy serum, and you can see here that it does have pearl running through it, so it just exaggerates that glowy effect. But once you leave this to set on your skin for a couple minutes, it blurs out your skin, smooths out your complexion, and makes for a really great first step in your makeup routine because it leaves your skin feeling kind of powdery but grippy at the same time. So foundation layers on top of it beautifully, and because of that powdery grippiness, it makes that foundation last a lot longer. And I feel like this primer extends the airbrushed effect of my makeup a lot longer as well. And its companion is amazing as well, which is the iconic London Super Smoother Blurring Skin Tint. These two products together create magic, but it is also magic on its own. This is a fantastic skin tint. If you are familiar with the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrops, it's quite similar in a few ways. I went through quite a few test runs with both, and I actually prefer the iconic London one more these days. It lays thinner on my skin. It has a thinner consistency as well, so I feel like it's more manageable to work with. And as the day went on, I liked the effect of this one more. I felt like it was more long wearing, whereas I found the Fenty Beauty one can look a little bit mask-like in certain areas of my face over the hours I'm wearing it. So I'm more keen on this one coming out of 2022. This turned out to be the skin tint of the year for me because of its uniqueness and how easy it is to work with. This one's cool too because it feels like it adds more coverage to your base than it actually does, just because of how much it diffuses your skin out and makes it so blurred that it looks more perfected than it actually is. So huge winner. Now moving into my other skin tints and foundations, the Chanel Les Beiges Water Fresh Complexion Touch was a huge win for me this year. Although it is a huge investment, it is worth it in my eyes because it does have quite a bit of coverage and you only need the smallest amount. And just the whole experience of this product is really fun. I know it freaks some people out, but for me, I think it's really fun and cool to work with. This is the product I'm wearing all over my skin today, and it's really interesting. It does not play around once it's on your skin. It doesn't move or budge. It just stays looking like your skin, but perfected. This one is the upgraded version of the original. This one has, I believe, 20% more coverage than the original, so it is just like an actual foundation. And the best way to apply this is by squirting some on the back of your hand and popping those little pigment spheres and then applying it with a brush. And then it just applies exactly like a normal foundation. This next product is quite similar to the Chanel one in a couple ways. This is the Rose Inc Skin Enhanced Luminous Tinted Serum. So again, this is a product that has pigment spheres suspended in serum, and I wasn't sure what my experience would be with this one in the beginning. It was my first experience with this type of product, and I actually completely fell in love with the effect on my skin. It gives my skin the perfect amount of coverage for day to day. It blurs out my skin, but it adds a bit of a healthy glow at the same time, and it wore incredibly well on my oilier complexion. That blurring effect lasts all day on me, and other products just layer on top of this like a dream. So although these two things look very similar and seem very similar, I look at them for different things. This to me is a skin tint, and this is a full-on foundation. So they both have a good place in my collection. So now let's talk about my two other favorite foundations of the year. So the other one is the Forever Skin Glow from Dior. This is such a beautiful, reliable foundation. It's my go-to one for events or days I know I'm going to be wearing my makeup for a really long time. It lasts so well, and I know it's just going to pair with anything wonderfully. It does add that beautiful glow, but it has a lot of coverage, but it doesn't look like it has a lot of coverage on my skin. It still makes my skin look like skin, just super, super perfected and gorgeous. And the next one is also super reliable. This is the Makeup Forever HD Skin. It took me a while to really fall in love with this product, but over the last couple months, this has been my #1 reached for, just because it's so adjustable. You can make it more glowy, you can make it more matte quite easily, and you can also use a tiny amount or a lot and it's still going to look incredible. It's just one of those foundations that will suit whatever vibe you're going for that day. The shades are incredible, it wears really well, and if I was still a working makeup artist, this would be the foundation I would get for my kit, and I feel like it would work for most skin types. So those were all of my favorite foundations and skin tints of the year. Now let's move on to my concealers, and I have quite a few. I'll talk about my #1 favorite first, which was the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. Now this is just a dream. It does add quite a bit of coverage, but it has such a thin consistency, and it does act like an eye brightener at the same time. So it's just like an all-in-one magical concealer for me. And another specific thing that I adore about this one is its applicator. That's what really kept me reaching for it in the beginning and what really made me fall in love with this, because it's so easy to pinpoint where you want coverage. It's such a skinny little applicator, and it's really easy to draw it on. It's a very hydrating concealer, but don't let that scare you away. It's not going to settle into your fine lines or creases. It's just going to make your under eyes look brightened and beautiful and not dry and crepey. This has replaced quite a few old favorite concealers of mine. This is my #1 reached for. It's so good. The next concealer I wanted to rave about is the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer. This one's phenomenal. If you like the Kosas Revealer Concealer, I feel like you might like this one even more for a few reasons. One, it's more affordable. Two, it doesn't expire as quickly, but it still has that beautiful serum-y eye cream texture. It looks like it's going to be a bit thick, but it's so seamless once it's under your eyes. It's another one that's really great at spot correcting. It offers so much coverage, but it doesn't look like it does once it's on your skin. It's super seamless, and it pairs wonderfully with anything I've ever used it with. This next concealer I use in so many different ways. It's the Clé de Peau concealer. I use this most often to spot correct my face. It has such a blurring texture. It's quite similar to the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer Pot, but I just kind of like how it's in stick form, and I feel like the matte texture is a lot finer. It looks incredible under your eyes. It has a super blurring, diffusing quality to it, and a tiny, 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 tiny amount of this goes such a long way. I sometimes use this as a foundation stick, but I just add 2 little dots to the bigger areas of my face, and it blends out to cover that entire area. But yes, this one is specifically incredible to spot correct with because of that fine matte texture. It's not going to highlight the areas you're trying to conceal. It's going to offer that blurring matte finish to you. Someone's putting on fireworks on January 2nd at 5 p.m. Odd. So if you hear that, that's what that is, hopefully. Completely lost my train of thought, but yes, I love to spot correct with this one. Moving on to my last favorite concealer, which is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. It took me a while to really fall in love with this one, but at the end of the day, here it is in my year-end video. It has this very luxurious, thicker texture. It feels like a nice serum-y thick gel, and it obviously is super, super, super high coverage. but it doesn't feel like that once it's under your eyes. It doesn't exaggerate any of my texture. It just keeps things looking super smooth and very corrected. It's one of my top favorite full coverage concealers. Moving on to powders now. I know you're all expecting this next one here. This is the e.l.f. Prime and Stay powder. This is one of my top makeup discoveries of the year, and I've said it since the beginning of testing out this product. It's incredible. If you like powders similar to the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish or the Pat McGrath Under Eye Powder or the LYS Triple Fix Setting Powder, you're going to adore this one, probably even more than those, because this is a $3 powder and it does the most. It sets your skin, it blurs so much. It just does wonders for every concealer I've tried it with, and it does wonders in the center of my face as well. You can be really light-handed with this or super generous and it's never going to look cakey. It is just everything to me. It's been my #1 powder of the year, and it's replaced quite a few of my old favorites as well. This next powder was a sneaky favorite. I don't think I realized it was a favorite until I've realized how much I was reaching for it every day. This is the Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom Cake Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder. It does incredible things under your eyes. It's not absurdly pink, but it's pink enough to really do a flattering job at brightening under your eyes. I wear it all the time, and I actually have gotten into like a light baking routine with this. So I just pack a little bit under my eye with a dry sponge and I leave it there for a couple seconds and I wipe it away, and it offers this beautiful airbrush finish that really brightens and sets and ensures that my concealer doesn't fall into my little under eye lines right here. I wish this was more in stock, but I just wanted to throw it in here just in case if you stumble upon it. It's a good one. It's a really good one. Moving on to bronzers and contours. This is another one that I feel like a lot of you are expecting me to talk about. It's the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. This is the product of the year for me. My #1 favorite discovery of the year. Hands down, this one. This was my most used product. I reach for this all the time and I'm sad on the days that I don't. I have 2 shades currently. The one I use most often is the shade Light Medium, and I've been using light in the winter time. So this is such a unique product. It does so much. So it's like a bronzing balm, but it doesn't really look like a bronzer. It just truly enhances your skin. The name is so perfect for the product. It feels really nice and balmy, but it does set down. It just makes you look really tanned and it doesn't feel heavy, and I feel like it just makes you look alive. So that's the shade Light Medium, and here comes the shade Light. So you can see the finish here. This is it freshly applied, so it is still quite glowy, but this is what it looks like set. So you can see it's still glowy. You can just see it kind of set down, so there's the gripping action and it doesn't go away. It makes you look tanned and healthy and just glorious. I feel like I can't put into words how much I love that product. I hope it got across. As you can probably gather, I was really excited to talk about this Makeup by Mario product, but I forgot to mention, although it's such a sheer product, it suits any of my looks, from my most natural no makeup days to my full-on full glam looks. I don't know how, it just does it just works. Editing Juliet out. Earlier this year, Fenty Beauty expanded the shade range in their matchsticks, and that's when I fell in love with them. They've been here since the beginning, but I never was a huge fan, but I have used the shade Amber and Amber Suede, which is one of their newer colors, so much. I'll give them a nice swatch. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the shade Amber. It is such a beautiful, cool-toned bronzing stick. And here is Amber Suede, which would be my bronzing color. But you can see it still has like this golden kind of neutral tone to it, and it's so flattering. These are awesome because you only need the smallest amount and they blend out beautifully. They do have a thicker texture, so you're going to be blending them out a little bit longer than like a balmy bronzer, but it offers like a powdery finish to your skin that does not budge during the day at all. So it gives you the great qualities of a cream product, but the great qualities of a powder product in one thing. I like to go to these if I want more of a dramatic finish to my makeup, or if I want to sculpt out my skin a little bit more. These were some of my most used products of the year. NYX came out with a similar thing. They had these before, but they revamped the formula and they're so much better now. These are the Wonder Sticks, and they also are dual-sided, so they have a beautiful highlighter on the other end. They used to have like a matte highlighter on the other side, like, kind of like a brightening concealer, but now they're like an actual glowy highlighter, and they're so much better. The formula feels very comparable to the Fenty Beauty product. It has that matte, kind of thicker cream texture. You can see that the contour side does have that more matte texture to it. That was the shade Fair, and I also use Universal Light, which looks like amber suede. Yeah, this was like my little drugstore dupe of the Fenty Beauty matchsticks with a really beautiful highlight. Both sides are wonderful, and I love how little the sticks are, so it's really fun to precisely add your definition. And same goes for the highlight. It's really nice to get in the smaller areas around your eyes, on your lips, on your nose. Really fun to work with. Highly recommend these as well. This was not the year for highlighters for me. I kind of stopped using highlighters halfway through. There just weren't any that I was really drawn to, aside from like my old favorites. The only new one from this year that I enjoyed were the Burt's Bees, the Luminizers. These are stunning. If you are familiar with like the Melt Cosmetics sex foils, you would really enjoy these. It kind of has like a gel texture that does end up setting down. I love to use the shades Golden Hour and Starlight mixed, just because this one's a bit pink and this one's a bit too golden and dark for my skin tone. So I take 50-50 of each and I blend them together to create this gorgeous champagne-y nude shade close to my skin tone. I'm wearing this on my high points too. This is what that looks like. It has such a beautiful thin texture, very fine pearlescence. It just looks really glossy and glowy, but it does set down and it lasts all day. What more could you need? It's a stunning highlighter. There's a few other highlights that have come out recently that have really intrigued me, but they're still too brand new to see if they were actually like a yearly favorite. I guess I'll give them like a little honorable mention. First being like the Rare Beauty one. It is really impressing me because of how unique it is, but I don't know if it's going to be like a long-lasting love of mine because it's still very brand new. Same with the Saie Reformation highlighter. They came out with one shade that is so beautiful, and the Merit highlighting stick. Those are three that have come into my life recently that I've been really impressed by, but I didn't feel ready to include it in today's video. These are the highlighters of the year. Are you guys ready for the blush section? I hope you are. There's a few good ones here, and a few that were previously loved formulas, but they came out with new shades this year, so I wanted the excuse to rave about them again, okay? That's the truth. I guess I'll start with that one. The Rose Ink Blush. This is my #1 favorite cream blush on earth that I've ever tried. They launched quite a few new shades this year, but the one I loved the most was Daylily. It looks like this. It's a really nice soft pink. You can see it's just that perfect color that could suit so many different looks, and it became such a huge favorite of mine. That's all I'm going to say about Daylily. Beautiful. Still love that formula to death. Another case of that goes for the Rare Beauty liquid blushes. I wasn't that big on these in the beginning, but that was just because I didn't have colors I adored and wanted to reach for until they came out with Believe and Encourage. Now I reach for these all the time, and I'm completely in love with this formula. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, but once you have your routine down, these are so nice because they have such a thin, serumy texture, but they're so pigmented and they set down so they last all day and they don't fade at all. Believe and Encourage are quite similar colors. Like, I just got myself confused here, so I had to do another swatch. But this is Believe and this is Encourage. Encourage has a little bit more pink in it, and this one's more mauvey. Hopefully you can see. So that's why they're both big favorites of mine, because they're so similar. These were heavily in my rotation. I grabbed them most days. Up next are these Huda Beauty Cheeky Tint blush sticks. I'm not huge on blush sticks anymore. Sometimes they can be too waxy and stiff to work with, but these are the exception. I swatched all three of my favorites. My #1 favorite is Rebel Red. It's a really nice hot chili muted brick red. Then we have Coral Cutie and Perky Peach. Some of these have this intense pearl in them, which I enjoy because it looks more dewy than it actually feels on your cheeks. I would say that these blush sticks are quite user-friendly as well. They offer quite a bit of pigment, but they're not overwhelming. And if you do feel a bit intimidated, I would recommend applying some in the center of your palm and then working from that just to get more control. But I have no issue just applying the stick directly onto my face. These were huge for me this year. I guess you could call these blush sticks as well. They're like little dome shapes though. These are the Merit blushes, and I know these didn't come out this year, but I discovered them in 2022. My two favorite shades are Terracotta and Beverly Hills. These are the perfect everyday blush for me, especially if I was going for kind of like a skin tint, very no makeup-y look, but I still wanted to add some color to my cheeks because they have such a little tint to them, but they still add quite a bit of fun to your face. What? And they wear amazingly. They do have a nice balmy glow, but they don't disappear on you. So I wanted to quickly mention these. Moving on to the funnest blush launch of the year, I'd say. These are the About Face Cheek Freak blush balms. My three favorite shades are Big O, Score, and Get Some. Get Some being my number one and the blush I'm wearing today. So these are really interesting. So these remind me of a few things. So not only do they have a really fun formula, they also have a fantastic and very fun shade range. I have a full video on these. In that video, I swatched them all against my arms and on my cheeks as well. So if you want to see all of these in action, you can go search up that video. But I'm just going to be swatching my three favorites. So here is Get Some. So it has that beautiful flushed tone that I would naturally turn to. So I think it's very flattering. This next shade, Big O, is this beautiful deep cranberry red. And this next one, Score, is one of the more unique ones. It's this beautiful lilac-y cool pink. And it looks intimidating, but once you actually put it on your cheeks, it turns like a really cute, flattering pink. It's not gonna do it on the back of my hand though, compared to these other shades. It looks really like violently purple, but trust me, it's cute. This formula is similar to the Rare Beauty melting blushes, these ones right here. So they feel kind of powdery in the pan, but once you start swatching it, you can see the product actually melting and you can feel that it's an actual balm. And then once it's on your cheeks, it does set down again, so it has that long-lasting finish of a powder, and it looks matte. It's not going to add like a balmy, glossy glow like you maybe think this product would. So this blush launch was the most exciting and interesting one of the year for me. And my last blush favorite of the year was this beautiful Saie blush in the shade Chili. They nailed this color. This is the blush of the winter for me. I can't stop reaching for it. It's this beautiful pink, but it has like a mauvey aspect to it. It's so perfect. It's actually the color I turn when I get cold. There it is. So it adds this gorgeous blush, but it's very, very sheer. So it just looks like an actual natural blush. So that's it for base and cheek products. Now let's move on to the eye category. So starting off with eyeshadow palettes, I wasn't huge on eyeshadow palettes this year. There's a few fun ones that have launched, of course, but this one was definitely my most used and gravitated towards, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury The Super Nudes Easy Eye Palette. This is what I'm wearing on the majority of my eye. I have a few other toppers and such. So it looks super, super boring and basic, right? But the formula is where it's at. It's really easy to work with. It truly gives like a Hollywood eye. It has this gorgeous luminosity to it. Hopefully if I can hold it up to you, you can see like the glow. You can see it better when I actually swatch it. They're just not classic boring mattes. There's a little bit of a sheen running through it. They feel slightly creamy in a way, but they just create this gorgeous defined eye, and they're so easy to use and diffuse. Very user-friendly. I can't say enough good things about this palette. It's easy to create a structured eye or a very diffused natural eye. If I were to get married tomorrow, this is what I would use as my palette. It has all of the colors I love the most, and the formula is just so rich and luxurious looking. Lani, you're starting to distract me. I have one palette I wanted to honorably mention, and that is the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes eyeshadow palette. This is still very, very brand new. I haven't had enough time with it yet, but the excitement this palette brought me was intense. It just brought me back to when I was first really getting into makeup, and the excitement I would feel when I would get a new palette. I felt all of that towards this one. It has these gorgeous mattes and these really, really beautiful and shimmery toppers. that are just so dimensional and gorgeous. So I just wanted to quickly mention this real quick. It wasn't the year of eyeshadow palettes, but it was the year of single shadows and pigments. I discovered About Face this year, and I'm all about the fluid eye paints now. These are so fun to create unique looks with. You can use these as eyeliners or eyeshadows. They have such a fun shade range. I love creating with these, whether it's a very simple look or a very detailed look. Whenever I whip these out, I get super creative, and I just love what they bring out in me and what they add to my face. That was a little bit cheesy. Another huge favorite from About Face are these loose glitters. These impressed me right away. I knew these were going to be long-term favorites of mine. So these are so fun because they bring me back to the days where everyone was obsessed with loose pigments and such. But these ones are just a lot more practical in a few ways. So first of all, something I really appreciate is that they have a little cap. So you open it that way and you can easily sprinkle some into the cap. So when you open it, you're not going to get like a little dust cloud of pigment and you're not going to waste any. But this is like a nice hydrated pigment because it adheres really well. It doesn't feel dry and they just smooth out beautifully. This is one of my favorite shades. It's the shade Saint Ceremony. So it has kind of like a nudie base, but then this beautiful violet kind of blue shift. I love how they are self-adhering. They're not messy. They're really easy to work with, and they have incredible shifts and colors. I hope you guys expected these in this video. These are the NYX Ultimate Glow Shots. My two favorite shades are Come Through Coconut and Golden Goji. These are so fun. So you can use them as liners if you want. So you can create like these solid, like liquid metallic lines, or you can blend them out to reveal the gorgeous glittery top coat within it. So I just smudge it out like this, and then it adds the most gorgeous topper. They're so fun to use, and I was immediately in love with these. We have to give a moment for these right here. I know they're super popular right now and they deserve every little ounce of hype that they're getting. These are the Urban Decay Moondust eyeshadows. I have the shades Space Cowboy and Cosmic. These are almost like addicting. They're so fun to layer on top of any eye look. Sometimes at the end of the day, I'll just add a little layer of this and I regret not wearing it during the day. So Space Cowboy is right here. So it has a really nice warm brown base, but this gorgeous kind of silvery golden reflect. And Cosmic is this gorgeous snowy white. They just add so much to your look. You can build them up quite dramatically like I have on here, or you can scatter it onto your eye look like I did today. My favorite thing about this is its micro glitter. It just makes your eyes look like we're sprinkled with pixie dust by Tinkerbell. Moving into eyeliners, I have two formulas to talk about. First being the Melt Cosmetics Slick Waterline Eye Pencils. My two favorite shades are Cocoa and Ivory. Cocoa is such a luxurious brown. These are incredible. Look at this glide. The most glidey pencil ever, but it sets down really matte and then it does not budge at all. And these are so fun to work with because they remain being really creamy, so you have a lot of work time before they set. So you can use them in a variety of ways. Of course, they wear incredibly in your waterline. That's their main purpose, but I also like using them for smoky eyes or eye bases or to enhance other shadows or shimmers. And the shade Ivory, I love to enhance my eye look like I did today. I like to highlight my outer corner right here just to clean it and to brighten and exaggerate that effect a little bit more. They're really easy to work with. Highly recommend checking it out, and I really hope that they end up launching a black. That would be something out of my dreams. And the other eyeliner I wanted to quickly mention is this Huda Beauty eyeliner in Very Brown. This is incredible for like inner corner extensions. I've been doing this so much this year, and this one does not budge. Even if I cry a little, it's not going to smudge. It is bulletproof. Even after I'm done washing my face, it's still there. So I always have to take a little Q-tip with some makeup remover to take it off. But yeah, if you want something really reliable for the inner corner, look no further than this. It's awesome. And it also comes with this super tiny, precise little brush applicator. So you're going to get the most easy, detailed job. I lied. I have a little honorable mention for eyeliner. This is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Ultra Matte Gel Liner in the shade Burnish. This is currently sold out. I believe they're working on bringing it back, and I hope that rumor is true. But this is the most beautiful liner to pair with my red hair now. It is such a cute look. This was a huge favorite of mine this year. Look how little I have left. I mean, I still have a lot, but I made a huge dent in this. It is such a beautiful liner to pair with red hair. Oh, I hope they bring it back. Now we're going to move into my favorite mascaras of 2022. I think my ultimate favorite was the Mac Stack mascara, specifically the Mega one. I feel like it gets the job done a lot quicker. This is a fun mascara because you are meant to stack layers on layers on layers to get your desired look. So you can get like an everyday fluffy look, or you can get a very volumized false lash effect. This is one of those mascaras that I see living in my collection for years to come. I feel like I'm always going to have it by my side. It is so nice. It just gives my lashes everything I want and more. And like I said, it does it very quickly. My second mascara of the year is the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. And this one acts like a tubing one, but it isn't. It wears so long. It never smudges or flakes either. It also feels lightweight through the lashes, so it's going to keep the curl very well. This is another adjustable mascara, so you can get an everyday look, or you can amp up the volume if you would like. This is a very rare case when it comes to Mia mascaras, but I can get away with wearing this on my top and bottom lashes without any smudging. So sometimes I want a different mascara for my top lashes. Say I want more volume and drama with the Mac Stack, I'll still go to this one for my bottom lashes just to ensure that nothing smudges. And my last favorite mascara is the Makeup Forever Professional mascara. It's a dual-sided one, which is so fun. This side I like to use for no makeup days if I just want to give my lashes a little tint. And the other side is such a great dupe for the Marc Jacobs At Lashed mascara that I miss dearly. It looks like this. It has a beautiful little tapered wand, so it's super easy to get into the inner corner and build a lot of volume. And this is a really fun mascara to customize your own lash effect. Most days I'll just go in with this side alone and I'll be really happy, but sometimes I like to go in with the other side to comb out clumps if that is something I encounter if I add too much volume that day, or if I want to add even more length to my lashes. It's a fun one to really get in there and customize your own lash pattern, almost, but with mascara. And this is another formula that does not smudge on my lower lashes, so I admire that a lot. I don't think I ever included a pair of falsies in my favorites, but the NYX Jumbo Lash Vegan False Lashes in the style Fringe Glam are incredible. I'm wearing them today. They give like a lash extension look to your lashes, but you get to take them off and rub your eyes at the end of the day. What more could you ask for? They're so curly, they're so cute. They created the best everyday lash. Look at that curl. I feel like you rarely see this in falsies. There's so many times that I have to curl them myself, but with these ones, they're just perfection right out of the package. I just have to trim them a little for my eye shape. Now it's time for the last category, which is lips. And before we get into lip products and lip liners and such, I wanted to mention my favorite lip balm. And it actually is a nipple cream. The one I use is by Lanson O. It's the best. It's pure lanolin. This one does not smell like anything at all. I know some of these can have like quite a pungent smell, but it doesn't smell like anything. It's very soothing and it just repairs your lips overnight. It's truly magic. And I like just pairing this with a lip liner because it has a glossy effect. So it's just perfect for wintertime. I have one of these living in my office and in my purse at all times. So if you have super dry and chapped lips, get nipple cream. Your life will be changed. I get DMs every day of people thanking me for putting them onto nipple cream as lip balm. Try it. You won't be disappointed. Well, don't try it if you're vegan because it is lanolin. Anyways, let's get into lip liners. So I have some repeats from last year. So last year I included Anywhere Caffeine from Makeup Forever, and this year I took it upon myself to expand my collection. These are all of my Makeup Forever lip liners now, and these are fun. You can also use them as eyeliners, which I always forget to. But I need to put a little sticky note on my computer here to try that. But these are the best lip liners. The texture is just incredible and very unique. I love how it comes in a classic wood pencil. I feel like the smell is very nostalgic, but it makes for a really nice texture. And this is a very unique lip pencil to me because they don't feel like a classic creamy pencil. They feel like a powder pencil, but they offer a lot of pigment. You can kind of get your desired look out of them if you want a very structured lip or a more diffused lip. You can easily get that, and the colors are just so beautiful. My number one favorite is still Anywhere Caffeine. It suits any lip color, but the shade of the year for me was Wherever Walnut. It's kind of like a nice pinky alternative. so it suits a lot of the colors and tones that I've been wearing this year. I'll mention some of my other favorites as well. This one here is Total Taupe. Over here is Up and Down Tan. This is Versatile Chestnut. This one is Full Scale Rust, and this one is Universal Earth. So those are all of my top favorites from them. I had the Huda Beauty lip contours in my 2021 favorites, and they're going to be in my 2022 as well, because I discovered this shade, Pinky Brown, which is my perfect everyday lip liner color. My favorite used to be Sandy Beige, but now it's this one here. It is like my lip color in a lip pencil, and it just suits everything I wear it with. I'm gonna keep it short with that because that was in my last year's favorites, but this last lip formula is new to this year. These are the Rare Beauty Kind Words matte lip liners. They came out with such a beautiful shade range. There's nudes for every skin tone. This has like a really nice moussey texture for a lip pencil, so there's a little uniqueness there, but ultimately it's a very beautiful creamy texture. And of course, alongside of those, the Kind Word matte lipsticks aren't far behind. Wow, I can't believe I grabbed them all like that. They're very cloud-like. They have a moussey texture again. They feel very silky and hydrating, but they have that gorgeous matte finish. I don't know what kind of technology is in here, but I love it. That's the color Strong. I'm going to quickly mention my favorites here. I just did this recently in my full face of Rare Beauty. This is the shade Gifted, which is my #1 favorite color out of the whole line, and the one I wear the most. This next color is Bold, which is also very, very cute. This is Humble, which is my favorite. That's closer to my skin tone. And my last one is Wise, which is a nice, perfect, softened, warm brown. I think these were my #1 favorite lip products of the year and my most reached for. These are the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glows. I think this was another very obvious inclusion for today's video. I love the little delivery system. You scroll it up, but be careful because you can't scroll it back down. And they're like glosses and a stick. They're so dramatic and the colors are just gorgeous. They're lightly plumping, but they don't feel like a stinging plumping. They ultimately feel really cooling on your lips. I would say that these are the most addicting lip colors for me. I can't get enough of them. The high gloss texture, the colors, just everything within them is perfection. The first colors that he launched with have this gorgeous glitter in it, so it makes the glossy glow even more intense. And then he came out with like a cream version that is just a solid color with no glow, and those are also very, very pretty. So these are all of the colors I've got. First one here is Rose Glow. Beside that one is Rosewood Glow. Then we have Bear Glow and Bronze Glow. And then the last one is Blush Glow. I use them all the time. Sometimes I layer 2 of them on top of one another to create my own color. These are just so highly loved by me. I cannot rave enough about them. I think Makeup by Mario is slowly becoming one of my favorite brands. This next formula is by Saie. These are the lip blurs. And that just sounds so delightful, right? I have 3 shades. Here they are quickly swatched. So this one over here is Nouveau, the middle one is Modern, and the last one is Dada. And these are so unique because you can see there's a lot of pigment to them, but sorry, I'm starting to crack up. They're very plushy. It's not what I would really expect from a product named Lip Blur, but it does blur like the texture of your lips. It does have that beautiful matte finish, but you can see there's a lot of pigment here. They definitely make a statement when they're on your lips. You can pat them on for a slight tint, of course, but I go to these when I want a lip focused look. And I love that we have a little cute inside joke. MAC came out with another variation of their Powder Kiss lipsticks this year, and these are the Powder Kiss Velvet Blur Slim Sticks. So obviously they became a favorite. I just quickly swatched all 3 Powder Kiss formulas from MAC. So I would say that the Slim Sticks lay right in between the 2 other Powder Kisses. So this is the liquid lip color, just quickly, in the shade MAC Smash. And this is the Powder Kiss Bullet in the shade Stay Curious. And this is the Slim Stick in the shade Stay Curious. So you can see it's just a little bit thicker and more opaque than the Bullet, but not as opaque and vibrant as the liquid version. They have that beautiful velvety soft feel. They're some of my most favorite lipsticks to reach for. I'm just going to swatch some of the shades that I've been loving. So this one over here is Love Clove. This one is Rosemary. Up here is Stay Curious. The middle one up there is Over the Taupe. And the last one is Nutmeg Ganache. Gorgeous fall tones. And I have a gloss here, which is a previously loved formula, just a new color. So I'm going to quickly breeze past this. It's the Tower 28 Lip Jelly in the shade Sesame. Here it is. Look at that color. It suits like wine tones, mauvey tones, pink tones. It's glorious. And that's all I'm going to say because I've been raving about the lip jellies for years on end now. Now we've reached the last two products in today's video. They're both lip stains. The first one is the e.l.f. Glossy Lip Stain in the shade Power Mauves. I have a few other colors, but nothing compares to this one. It's such a cute color. It reminds me a lot of Stay Curious from MAC, but just in a glossy lip stain version. There it is right here. It's so cute and it does stain really, really well. This is one of my most used lip colors because lip stains are just so easy to wear. They'll wear off in a very flattering way and you're not going to be worrying about touching up your lips that often. They just make it a breeze and I really appreciate it. And the other lip stain is of course by Fenty Beauty. These are the Poutsicle. I love the name, so cute. I think that's what really got me interested initially. My favorite of the four is the shade My Type. And I actually like to layer this under whatever I'm wearing. Like sometimes I'll have an entire different lip combination going on, but I'll have this stained under so my lips will wear off to this gorgeous pink. I also love doing that on a first date just to ensure I always got a lip going on. It's cute. And these have such a beautiful lacquered finish to them. They kind of bring me back to the Lancome lacquered lipsticks that I just completely adored. They had this beautiful thick lacquered finish, but then they would stain your lips as well. It's very reminiscent of that. I hope they bring out more shades because the four that they have right now is not enough. So it's been on for a few seconds here. I'm going to wipe them off so you can see. The Fenty ones do stain quite a bit better than the e.l.f. stain, I will say, but still good. Still very good. The Fenty ones stain very evenly and very precisely, as you can see. But there we have it. Those are all of my most loved products of 2022. What are some of yours? I would love to know in the comments down below. But that's going to be it from me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and being here. It means so much to me. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a like. It would help me out a lot over here. I'll make sure to link and list everything I talked about in the description down below just to make it easier for you all. So feel free to check that out and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!